I think the easiest way for me to organize these types of things is to go off of the basis of the game itself and break down shopping into the 3 pillars.
Oh. Cool, okay.
Yes, just to keep it organized in my brain, to keep it organized for your notes.
Combat shopping.
Notes. Combat shopping.
So good. So I'm excited.
Segue. But in this case,
so strong all the time.
Shopping is one of my personal weaknesses as far as a DM in developing that side because I've ignored it and purposefully avoided it.
I wish my wife was like that. It's one of our great strengths.
Danger, Sean. Danger.
But like I said, there are ways, I think, of making shopping actually meaningful and fun. Yeah. So stay tuned and we'll get into that, I think.
Oh. Now that we've had like this kind of a conversation, what would you use?
I'm gonna use the stuff that I talked about. No, for sure. I think they're great ideas.
Of course you do.
Whoa. Oh. You alright, dude?
Yeah.
You took a pretty hard fall there.
Well, looks like one of us is the favorite child today.
I'm just lucky, I think. I don't think they like either of us. It's over. Your chair's over there.
It's like injury to insult.
I know, right? 3 feet away.
That's all it takes. 300 feet.
That's all it takes.
Gotta use my whole action, bonus action, for the movement.
Use an item.
Interact with an object.
Good thing you're a rogue. It's only bonus action to do that.
Glad I stretched.
All right. You all right?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I should have had a runway for that landing.
All right. Today's note says, "Attention. Read out loud exactly what is written on this note, or be destroyed and replaced." Welcome to Caffeine and Cantrips, the show where we talk about D&D, or else. Welcome to our captivating podcast, where style reigns supreme and trends bow down to your impeccable taste and maybe a BBG or two. That's bold, brilliant, exquisite garments. I'm Sean number 379, and I'm so in right now. You're in for a real treat, because we're out here and we're going to get that bag, baby. You won't believe the drip we're going to be styling when we get back to town with this roll. Balenciaga broadsword, Byron number 436. I got it. Duchess Fuoco, Gucci goggles of night. You bet I got them with the G buckles. Slay. The bards are going to swoon when I'm done with this silksmith. So stay a while and let's make a shopping spree that makes Julia Roberts blush. Chic.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. If it wasn't very clear, Julia Roberts, call us. We want to have our very own kind of Pretty Woman moment here.
Reggie Gere, call us.
Actually, that'd be amazing. I think today, what that message was implying, or at least what I inferred, was that we are talking about shopping in D&D.
Yep. Everyone's favorite kind of D&D session.
I don't know about you, but I have feelings, and they are strong.
Feelings.
But no, today I think we need to focus on, for the scope, it's always important to set the scope. The scope that we're going to be talking about is the act of shopping, not purchasing. Right? It's not the act of buying things.
Right.
It's like going hunting is not the same as going killing. Right? It's the act of going to do something, regardless of whether you're successful or not in that endeavor. I think we'll focus on that and how to turn that really ordinary, mundane, kind of potentially boring thing, or something that
8 hours of shopping.
Well, I don't mind it in real life, but 8 hours of shopping for a session?
Right.
No, bonita.
Not when there's goblins that need slaying.
Always with the goblins. But yes, that's, I think, what we're going to talk about today.
Bugbears. Balenciaga bugbears.
Oh, the fur is so hot right now.
So hot.
Blue Magnum.
Blue Steel.
Yeah, Magnum. Yes, Blue Steel and then Magnum.
Come on.
It's the same look. Yeah. What do you think about shopping in our favorite TTRPGs?
I feel like, there is that. It's the predominant, like when people say, oh, shopping episode, people are like excited because they get to buy things. But when you get into it, just like, are we still shopping? It feels like it drags on and it's just a waste of time. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And before we get into like how to make it not a waste of time, I want to talk about why it tends to be a waste of time. Because maybe it's not at your table. And in that case, you probably don't do these things. Right? But last time we went shopping, it kind of went like this. Not really. But shopping episodes in D&D.
All the Infinity Stones within my grasp. Shopping is inevitable.
To lack focus.
Oh.
I think. Or not focus. Lack purpose.
Oh, yes.
Right? So it feels aimless and there's like no clear objective or a quest that's tied to them. Right? And you spend a lot of time on something that doesn't directly sort of advance the story or the character stories, right? And that's what's fun, right, about D&D or TTRPGs in general. Because really, why don't we just give the DM a list? I want these things. Cool. Before the session, here, you guys have them. Let's just skip the whole shopping itself, right? Since it's so useless, right? And it wouldn't be so bad if it lacked purpose, if it wasn't so time consuming. Not only is it kind of useless, the act of going shopping in D&D, the way we do it, but depending on how the shopping is handled, it can take like forever, right? It's this character. You have like, 6 characters, 5 characters? And it's, you're shopping your stuff. Your character's shopping your stuff. And everyone takes like 45 minutes, right? 30 minutes. Whatever, right? Way longer than it should, quicker than real life, or way longer than it should for something that lacks purpose.
Well, in real life, at least you can stop at that pretzel hut and take a break.
Well, exactly. If you want by yourself, you go, you get your stuff, and you leave. If you're going with someone, you get to hang out, go for coffee, do whatever, have a chat.
Shout out Orange Julius.
All right,
that's my jam.
And I think lastly, the shopping is really disconnected from your actual adventure. What the characters are there for.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
And you can feel that disconnect when you're shopping in this manner. If there's no like narrative tie-in, and the focus tends to shift so that it's solely on the looking for and the buying of items, which serves no purpose narratively.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In itself, it's like by itself, like the looking for, do you have this? Do you have that? No. What about this? Oh, yes, we have Greek fire, or let's say acid. Right? Yes, we have acid. It's 50 gold. Really? Can I get it for 20? Oh, can I roll persuasion? Oh, I'm gonna say this and then try to persuade him. Oh, that's you rolled a whatever. Okay. He goes down to, okay, since you're so polite, I'll give you 40. Can I do 30? And finally, after 10 minutes, you buy the Greek fire or the acid for 25 gold. And then you're like, oh, do you have caltrops? The same thing, right? And then when that character's done, it's the next character. Right?
Yeah. And invariably, it cycles back because you're like, oh, I forgot something. Yeah. You're like, oh, you again? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Just if it's mundane stuff, even if it's magical stuff, just give a list to your DM. Do you have this stuff? I'm shopping for this. Tell me what I have, what they don't have, and then I'll spend the gold.
Oh, ye of solutions.
Right?
Before the...
If you're not going to do anything else. Like if it's just this kind of sort of bland, trying to find stuff and then buying stuff. Don't do it in session. Right? But like I said, there are ways, I think, of making shopping actually meaningful and fun. Yeah. So stay tuned and we'll get into that, I think.
Oh. Will we?
No, anyways, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on what I said? Like, do you think there's other reasons I missed of why shopping tends to be like the stupidest thing ever?
It's funny that you should ask. But it's a strong word, but I hate fantasy shopping.
Fantasy shopping. It's like fantasy football, but
I love going actual shopping, right? Like finding new clothes, new patterns, new tech, it doesn't matter what it is, it's new and I want it, and so I'm invested, right? I care about what's going on. It's going to further my storyline or a personal need or something, right? In real life, in TTRPGs,
it's the worst.
Generally, I'm on the other side of the table, so I'm DMing or I'm running the game. And so it is just this laundry list of mundane, unimportant things that we just want to figure out ways of getting out of the game. Like, nobody likes to brush their teeth, but we all like fresh breath. Unless you like brushing your teeth, in which case, awesome. I do too. It feels great. But
you're sad because it gives you fresh breath and you like bad breath.
And
I love brushing teeth. Oh, life is hard.
My halitosis. So I hate everything that's around it, and a lot for what you said as well, right? It lacks purpose. It has no real definable direction. It's just like this whole thing. And on top of that, you have to generally create a description or announcement of why the shop is cool.
Right.
And then you got to make a funny voice for the dude or dudette that's behind the counter or not counter, depending on what description you give. And then it's this thing. And then of course they're going to ask, well, what's your name, shopkeeper? You got to have a name. And how's your wife doing? Oh, I don't have a wife. Right. And there's like all of this stuff that generally has nothing to do with the plot line, nothing to do with the story.
Yep.
But the players got to play. And they know. Players know, instinctually they know. So a lot of times
what do they know?
They know generally what buttons to push because they're tropey. And they're tropey and they're repetitive because it's like, oh yeah, what's his name? Where are you from? How many towns over are you from? Like, what's your history? What's that? And when you do that,
is your DM like this?
500 different NPCs simultaneously in this little town, you're just like, you're here to buy 6 days worth of rations. Just throw the coin on the table. PHB pricing. I don't care. I could go on a rant forever.
You're like 20 years D&D DM jaded.
I'm like, this is my 9,000 shopkeeper. Yeah.
So bitter.
But the question is I hate fantasy shopping, but why? Right? But why is the more important statement here? And in this case, I myself am guilty of this.
Guilty.
But I have not really thought about ignorance being bliss in this sense, or not. And when I say that is, I've taken the path historically, I've taken the path of least resistance and just said, I'm not going to do the shop. I'm not going to do the shopkeeper. Just tell me what you want. Or do you guys want anything not on the PHB equipment list? Okay, you can totally find it in this town.
Right.
Just you guys take care of it. I'm going to trust you. Buy as much as you want. Make sure you subtract the coin. Take care of it yourself. I'm going to shout out trust. You to shout out trust.
Oh, I like shadow trust better.
The trust in the dark.
The trust behind the trust.
No, like you guys just take care of it and we're going to move on with the other important stuff.
Okay.
Right? But ultimately, I myself am also guilty of saying that we need to take into consideration our weaknesses, and weaknesses are generally things that we gloss over, right? We don't pay attention to them because we don't find ways around them. Yes, invincible. But in this case,
so strong all the time.
Shopping is one of my personal weaknesses as far as the DM in developing that side, because I've ignored it and purposefully avoided it.
I wish my wife was like that. It's one of our great strengths.
Danger, Sean. Danger. She probably doesn't watch this. Sean's renting hour. So,
do you really need that?
Yeah.
Where are we going to put it? Anyways.
Yes.
Sorry.
So I
digress.
I think we need to take my own advice, and I'm going to because of this, actually. And I'm going to shed my preconceptions. I'm going to get rid of all of the background, all of the thought, all of that inertia of avoidance, and actually turn that around and actually delve into this to find the silver lining to the storm cloud.
Yes.
Right? And so what do we do here at Caffeine and Cantrips? We get into it. We find what do we do?
What do we do?
What do we
It's a great question.
If you know, hit the like button. If you don't know, hit the like button and the subscribe button, and we'll find out together.
Right? If you do know, leave a comment so that we can know
Just
too.
say, I know. And we'll DM you to find out. Help, please.
What are we doing? I don't know.
So the Caffeine and Cantrips way, we got to get into this and talk about it and think about it and spin that little idea around until it starts to make sense and it becomes something cool and beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Wheel of ideas. So let's do this the Caffeine and Cantrips way. And to me, initially, what did that mean? For simplicity, because I can rant and I can ramble forever.
You sure can.
And we cut stuff out.
So much stuff.
I think the easiest way for me to organize these types of things is to go off of the basis of the game itself and break down shopping into the 3 pillars.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yes, just to keep it organized in my brain, to keep it organized for your notes.
Combat shopping.
Notes. Combat shopping.
So good. So I'm excited.
Segue, I'm going immediately into the low-hanging fruit of conflict and combat. That's the one that I want to talk about first.
Sounds like a great anime.
Because I don't think anybody does it. Right. And I don't think that people have necessarily thought about it, of what it could be.
Right.
So that's where I wanted to start. And it's also ultimately the place that needs the most development. So this is a great way to start weak and end strong.
And it sounds freaking awesome.
So combat shopping, or in this case, I'm going to change the C slightly to conflict shopping.
Mm.
And no, I'm not going to talk about intimidation and persuasion rolls. That's role play. I'll get to it later.
You're talking about initiative rolls.
How much for that McDouble?
Roll initiative.
No, I think when we're starting to talk about these sorts of things, how could we incorporate combat or conflict and true combat conflict into the game and the portion of it that is shopping? And the first thing that comes to mind is to push out maybe shopping into different aspects of what your characters have. So perhaps they're going to a town that has an arena or a mercenary guild or an adventurers guild and whatnot. And you can go into the shop and you can do or attempt to do feats of strength to gain discounts in the shop to prove how awesome of an adventurer or mercenary or, gladiator you are, right? So maybe you go in and the burly kind of bouncer, the security guard, which we're going to talk about in a sec, is just like, he's there to protect the shop and whatnot. And if you can beat him in an arm wrestle, great. So now the wizard who's going shopping for spell components needs to bring the fighter along so that they can get their spell components for cheaper.
Fireball.
Well, that's a different, well, then all the ingredients get burned up in the shop too.
It's got to shape it so it goes out the door.
I think technically, well, A, you can't, and B, you can only avoid. No, you can only avoid creatures, I think, as an evoker.
Right.
Not objects. So
sleep.
No. We'll get to that in a sec too. But something like that, something where you have to do something physical, right? Perhaps you have to duel the security, or perhaps the shopkeeper themselves are an old gladiator, an old mercenary, right? You can't shop at my place until I know you can flick a rapier, right? You can't do this unless you can hit that board with a knife.
That is a trope,
right? Is it a trope?
Well, a little bit.
To shop and get like
to be like, I'm like, you can handle a real weapon, boy.
Right.
Like, show me, swing that around. Like,
okay, if it's a trope, have you ever seen it in any game you've played?
No, it's not a D&D trope.
No.
It's like in like stories or like anime or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So in this case, I think it might be a good one to adopt in.
Yep.
Right. And then there's something to do while you're shopping. Right. While you're looking over your list of what they have in the shop, the friggin' barbarian is sumo wrestling some guy in the back to try and like get you a better price or to like get you access. Maybe that's what it takes to be able to even shop here, right? Talk about more of that later. So stuff like that, even if you have a dungeon crawl within your shop. Now, This is taking inspiration from actual official content, if you believe it or not. But there is a place called the Yawning Portal.
Okay.
Are you familiar?
No.
Okay. So
seems tired though, that portal.
So the Yawning Portal is in Waterdeep. It's a tavern. Okay. There's actually an entire book of adventures based on it.
I didn't know the name. I know it now.
Yes. So it's actually an entrance to one of the biggest mega dungeons from previous editions, which is the Ruins of Undermountain.
That's what I know.
That's what you know.
Yeah.
It's not who you know. It's what you know. So why don't we take inspiration for that? Why don't we have the shop set up on an ancient ruin that is a dungeon crawl that you can go into? And the shopkeeper's like, yeah, you can go down there and get whatever you want. But to keep my shop running and buy some of this cool stuff that you see on the shelves, when you come back up, I get second choice of whatever you bring up. You can save one item. I get the second item and you get to keep the rest.
That'd be interesting.
Right? So now there's an adventure. There is conflict. There is combat.
Right.
Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be that. Let's go under the principle of shoot the monk.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a fight, it's a fight. If it's a puzzle for your intellectual players or your kind of smarter characters, right? Use that. If it's traps, let your rogues and bards and expertise characters do that. Right?
Right.
Whatever they want to do or whatever you can customize that shop to do for your party, do that. Shoot the monk in this case. Because ultimately, what are we doing? We're shopping.
Right.
Right. And this is just a way to make it more fun. And kind of to finish off conflict, because that's a lot already, right?
Yep.
Just as kind of like a high umbrella, but there's a lot there condensed into nice point form. Be aware that the cooler your shops are, the more your PCs are going to want to steal from them. Yeah, it's a thing. So when you have a low-level shop that's just like your podunk general store that's got basic stuff, okay, there is a guard posted there. If we're talking middle high-end magic shop, no, this is an organization. This is a business within the world. They deserve to be there because they have existed this long.
They have magic items.
They have security.
Yeah.
Right? Even if it's mundane security, right? They're like, oh, we're just going to go in with invisibility spell. No, there's just beads hanging from the door. Like all the way on the door and the windows and every entrance that you can see. Right? And you're just like, oh, you cannot sneak in here invisibly.
Right.
Right? Silence. Okay, sure. Now you can sneak in, but you can still be seen. Like you have to go through layers, and this needs to become an event if your PCs want to do that.
Or it becomes a heist.
It becomes a heist.
Which is a side quest on its own, right?
Bam, right? And so if they really want it, they got to work for it.
Yes.
Right? And in of that, it becomes a conflict encounter.
And like Skyrim style. Yeah. Hey, look over there. What?
Bucket. Yeah. You go behind them, you put a bucket on their head or something, right? So they can't see. I don't know. I never played that one. But things to think about.
No, you go upstairs where their room is, and they follow you because they're like, what the hell are you doing in my room? And you run downstairs, steal everything, and then run out of the store.
By the time that they path down.
Yeah.
But
I know how to play Skyrim.
Do have security. Do know that you need a basis of stability around that shop, or else it couldn't exist. Everything would have gotten stolen because that's just how things work. If there's bandits and marauding orcs and gnolls and kobolds and goblins and all that stuff, there's going to be security at every shop pretty much, unless they are so small and so mundane that it's not quote unquote worth it.
Right.
So do have guards and do use the full power of the law against your PCs when they attempt to go against it and they fail. Right.
Right.
Do measure the infraction to what it is, but if they're going to go and try and steal that Holy Avenger, no, they're going to probably the chopping block, right? If not jail for life, or whatever. That's
probably in like the church.
Yes, the church or somewhere. Anyway, keep it in mind. Don't just point the finger at them. Give them the fist. So anyway, conflict shopping is one example of how to make it more fun, more engaging, more interesting. Yeah. You got any ideas?
Combat? So many ideas fly into my mind when I hear combat shopping.
Just dungeon delving?
That's what I thought. Free. Right? You just find some bandit camps and you just combat shop. That guy looks like he has some a nice armor. I'm gonna go kill him. I take his stuff.
These mannequins were real lively today.
Right? That one looks like he wears some nice underwear. I'm gonna go into his underwear drawer. See what's hiding there.
Unless you have that sword.
Underwear sword?
The sword of underwear stealing?
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that's a second dead throwback.
Anyway. I don't know that one.
Yeah.
That's a really fun sword.
Could be. Not if I guess if you're on the receiving end. But anyway.
But yeah, combat. I like it. I mean, or conflict, because it doesn't even have to be like fighting. It could just be like, we don't serve your kind here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what kind? Right? Like amateurs.
Better, right? Because I was like, oh, this is bordering on role play-esque. I want to stick more to fighting, true, but you're absolutely correct. And it's nice if you bend the trope so it's not racist or ableist or whatever. You're just like
amateur.
Yeah.
Right? Like, show me. Let's go to the back.
Yeah.
Right? If you can, what?
I'm going to leave this shop unattended while I go beat the hell out of your friend.
Right?
Yeah.
Or we'll lock the door and then go to the back, whatever, right?
I'll lock him in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not locked
in with you. Yeah. So yeah,
full Rorschach.
No, I like the idea.
I just want the dagger, man.
Because what it does, it makes shopping more than just buying stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think if you want to, like you did there, like if you want to make your shopping less meaningless and a waste of time, I think it might be a useful thing to do in your mind is to frame your shopping episodes as a series of scenes.
I have heard that the montage effect is very useful.
Not even in montage. That's one scene, but like every character has a scene, or every separate like shopping event has a scene, like in a play or in a movie or TV show, right?
Okay.
Because when you watch movies and TVs, characters do go shopping, right? But you'll notice, if you think about it, that the focus is never on the buying of stuff. The focus is always on the interactions happening around the buying.
Perfect. Yeah, right? That's exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly. That's the scene, right? And in a movie and a TV show, you never have hopefully, you never have a scene that's useless. That doesn't further the story.
That hits the cutting room floor, for sure.
Exactly. You have like teams of editors that cut that stuff out.
How many scenes in John Wick was he standing there with the sommelier and he's like, that's too robust. Can I have something lighter? That's too red. Can I have something?
That's a little bit too dry.
No, it was this, done, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And even then, it was a fun little play, sort of foreshadowing what he's doing, right?
I love dessert.
Because that's really what that shopping scene was in John Wick. It was just foreshadowing because they used every single one of the things that he was shopping for.
Correct.
Right? Because
like in that order too, I think.
Something like that. Yeah. And you might think that this is the DM's job to set things up as scenes, but I would argue that it's the player's job to do this.
Everyone is a player.
Well, the PCs.
Okay.
Specifically. Because it's your scene. It's your shopping episode. You should be the one to think of it as a scene, and you should be the one to set what you want to do in this scene through shopping. Right? So maybe I've wanted my character to have that conversation with the other character there. I'll invite him. Hey, I'm gonna go shopping for some acid and some caltrops. You want to come with me? Okay, sure. Right? And then you can have that conversation, right? While you're doing that, right? You can like, well, hey, last time we went shopping, I noticed that you buy lots of oil all the time. Like, what do you use it for? And then it becomes a scene where it furthers, right?
Why do you think I smell like coconut all the time?
I think I got this nice tan, right? But then it furthers
I'm actually
character stories, right? And as you as a player get to choose what you want in that scene, what the purpose of that scene is for. You don't need to rely on a DM to do that for you, right? I've been saying this more recently, is that you really shouldn't be relying so much on the DM to hand you things anyways, especially when it comes to like character and story arcs.
Especially.
Yeah, right. There you go. Right.
Yes.
And because you can inject anything into those scenes, right? If you're by yourself, You can have a scene with the
asterisks within reason.
Well, with the NPC. If there's a good purpose for it, I'm sure the DM would be happy to do that.
Within reason.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
As always.
Yes.
Right.
But I think it's important to say, because that's like, the thing that I really want to get out of this is A, a conversation with X party member, and B, a flame tongue. So that shop has one and it's 50% off. Like, oh, wait, hold on. You can give me the initial scene, right? But I as the DM still have to do my part. You have to do your part, right? Like,
yes.
But you can be like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to the poison store, and the DM's like, okay, I didn't know there was a poison store, but maybe there is such a thing now.
Or maybe you don't know. Like, do you know what the poison store is? No, I don't know what the poison. Well, you go ask someone then.
Yeah.
Right. There is no poison store, but it doesn't matter because your purpose isn't to buy poison.
Right.
Your purpose is to have that scene with that other PC.
Okay.
Right. That's what it should be. It should be more than just the buying.
Good. Yeah.
Right. That's what I mean by scenes.
Primary goal, secondary goals. Yeah.
And then if the players do this well, as a DM, what you should do is reward them, so they do it more. Right. So the shopping isn't boring. It's less boring every time. Right. You encourage them to do it more. Right. Maybe they're like, yeah, I'm looking for poison and it's rare. But maybe if they have a cool enough scene, maybe then someone can, I don't know, like a dark figure in the alley says, hey, come over here. You're looking for some poison.
Yeah.
Or whatever, right?
That's where you hit the clicker and pass the chip all over and you're like, have a chip. Right?
What?
No, I meant like Pavlovian responses.
You want poison? I'll give you poison.
Yeah.
Eat these chips. But yeah.
This is what it feels like, noob.
But yeah. And so in the end, wrap your mind around, frame your shopping sessions as scenes, individual character scenes, story scenes, like as if it was in a TV show or a movie, right? It's never about the shopping itself. It's always something else done through shopping. Right? So yeah, because in the movies, you never remember them, oh, that was a great shopping scene because of the cool stuff that he bought and all the stores that he went to.
Well, you just brought up a great shopping scene.
But it wasn't about right? Again, that shopping scene wasn't about buying the stuff.
Yeah, it was still a shopping scene, but I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It was about foreshadowing and more of that expression of the world that he lives in.
Well, exactly, right? It served a very, not crucial, but valuable sort of purpose of telling a story and expanding on the world and so forth. Right? So if your shopping can do that, awesome. Right? Wonderful. Then have more of those because your story and your world only get richer and better because of it, as opposed to the opposite if you don't do that.
Yes, I'll agree with you. I have caveats, but
within reason.
Within reason. No, it goes beyond that for that one. But actually, I think I might talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
Yeah. Was that the end of your thought?
Yeah.
Yeah? I didn't want to decline your particular swipe on that one. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're
Appreciate
good?
it. Yeah, of course.
Good. Because I think my turn again. No, what you brought up there is actually really quite interesting when we're talking about.
Can we add credit cards into your campaign?
Well, debt exists, and debt already exists in my world.
What a great business to start. Anyway, sorry.
I'm going to call it Magic Visa. Yeah. It's so funny. But anyway, I think that the next area, based off of what you're talking about, and kind of the slant that you're on here, is the pillar of exploration.
Right, you're going to the pillars.
I'm going with the pillars because I think that's maybe it's rudimentary, maybe it's pedantic to stick to these types of things. But if they already exist in the world, then they already exist in everything that's in the world. And if we take a moment to see, we're all made out of stars. Thanks, Neil.
Stuff of stars. Neil didn't say that. Didn't say that. The original quote. But anyways.
Well, maybe not the original.
Sorry, Neil, but call us.
Yeah. Teach me, Neil. Tell me how I've been a bad man.
Teach me how to make shopping fun.
It's star shopping fun.
Star shop.
Exploration is kind of a really interesting thing in of itself, because it is generally the most neglected, I think, of the three pillars. And so I think for exploration, I would call this shopping with your caffeine and credit card.
Please, can I have some?
Finding the end of the debt on that particular item. Exploration is a really cool idea when you pair it, not parrot. When you pair it with shopping, credit? Because the act of shopping, yes.
Polly gets interest payments. Only 20%.
Polly always pays on time. There's exploration is it pairs in a great way with the idea of going shopping for something, going looking for something, right? Like it's so easy. It's a match made in the celestial heavens. And I think when we're doing this, when we're entertaining the idea of exploring shopping to make it fun, I think that kind of the basis of this particular side or this pillar is to set the stage, right? And this is just like you were talking about, setting the scenes and whatnot. Set the stage with want versus need versus the story.
This is DM from the DM side?
A little bit more from the DM side, for sure. At least, yes, from the DM side.
Okay.
Get out of here, players.
Get your ass out of here.
But come back. Because we want you back at the table. No, I think when we're looking at what it is that they are seeking, because we're generally going to be aware of what it is that they are seeking either right before or a long time before, based on conversations that you're having at the table with your players, whatnot, etc. Hopefully you're talking to your players. I
just talk at them.
Yeah, I think if we measure the need, a mundane match is very simple and very easy, and that search should be can be very simple, right? I want basic item. I can go to the store and acquire basic item, right? I want fantastical item. I need to have a fantastical journey in shopping for it. Now, whether that's going to the local crafters guild or whatever, and we need a phoenix feather to make this blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Part of shopping is that side quest. Part of shopping is going and looking for all of those things. And when we're doing that in a good way to precognate what it's going to take and to do your session prep as a player, as a DM.
We're all players.
I think player. What we have to do to really help both sides is look at your shopping list as if it's a map of your future requests. And this is going to really help you understand the want, how much the character actually desires what this is, how much they need it for whatever progression. Either that's that linear power progression or that's that soft power influence and kind of adjacent progression that they're looking for, and how that matches up with the story and where they're at. Right? So level 1, you're probably not going shopping or hunting for the items of a Holy Avenger. Maybe you are.
Some discount. 30 gold Holy Avenger.
Or maybe this is what the character's quest is, right? Is to go and to gather a sword and bring it back and King Arthur this place, right? Because it's all chaos and whatever. And that's their entire story, is they heard a prophecy and now they got to go do it. Are they shopping for it? Maybe, maybe not. But in this case, when we're looking at the shopping, it's part of that item creation, part of that attaining from that space. Right. And so that's why we have to explore these needs, explore what it is that we can do to make this more than I go to store, exchange goods for money, get out of store success. Right. And one of the great ways of having these shopping lists, and like you said, if you want to go shopping.
Oh, wow.
You said that.
Smart.
It was so good.
What did I say?
If you want to go shopping, have a shopping list. If you want to go shopping, send that list to your DM before the session starts so they can look at it and see what's on there.
Oh, my initial rant. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Like do communicate, right? We've talked about this before in tipping your hand, not playing your cards in secret, tipping your hand so that you and the DM can work together to make a story together. It's not you versus them. It's not them versus you.
No.
Right?
It shouldn't be.
And so if you go, hey, I know we're going to be going back to town because that's what we said we were going to do. I'm going to send you in a day or two here. I'm going to think about it, session prep. I'm going to think about it, and I'm going to write all the stuff that my character wants. And then with that, I'm going to send that to you, and then you can see if the shops have it, where they might be found, where they're going to be, whatever you want to do with that. There you go.
Right.
And now I can go, oh, okay, cool. I can make this be over here and tie it into the story here, or make you have to go right next door to where there's a plot point, or I can make you do that. Right? Like I can tie in, like you talked about before.
Yeah.
I can tie in this treasure map, aka shopping list, into a way that integrates into the world and have you naturally, I'm going to put that in quotes for our audio listeners, but you're naturally maneuvering around the world in a way that I can use to manipulate you to see more of the world, to experience more of the world.
Senpai.
Oh, senpai.
Manipulate me.
Senpai. Not only is this great, like, whether you're using a live document or like a cloud shared document, right, to do this communication, you're texting, you're actually like folding paper airplanes and throwing them out the window and they somehow land in there, or you're just like sending shopping list after shopping list. And, and the people on around the street are like, what the hell? We got some weirdos around here. Right. Get in there and really make sure that these are things that you as a player, remember when we talked about DMing your PC or DM PCs, right?
You hate them.
Is this a thing that your character really wants? And if it is really a want, then it should be integrated into the story somehow. And if it's not, right? Waste not, want not, right? If it's just a mundane transaction, we don't have to get in there and do this nitty gritty stuff, right? But if it is something of interest, or if it is something of a desirable nature, that's reading between the lines, both player and DM, or player and player, or player and player and player, or player and DM, whatever the combination is, that's allowing you guys to have a hook or a trigger that creates an additional layer of what's going on.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And so you're creating more engagement. The world is now more alive. It's now more interesting. And it gives you a chance as a DM to come up with those shops, to come up with those shopkeepers. Right. On top of that, it allows you to do customized and unique offerings. So if you have time to think about these shops ahead of time, or you want to go online, and there are online generators for shops and whatnot, generate your lists, tweak them accordingly, whatever you want to do, there is time for you to do that and prep it. And when you do prep it as part of that exploration, maybe this is something that is hard to find. Right? You're going to make it hard to find, not because you want it to be difficult to find, because you want it to be worth what it's worth and not just an exchange of coin, right? The act of shopping isn't just browsing the shelf in this case, right? We're getting into it. Perhaps it's at a store that is locals only. No adventurers allowed. Right? What do we have to do to be able to shop here? Who do we have to convince to go buy it for us? Right? Like, what do we have to do? Now we have to find additional soft power around what we're doing to get in there.
Bro, here's 10 gold. Just go buy some ale.
I want a tankard of mead. Cover charges are another way of just being interested. Now, cover charges don't necessarily have to be money. Okay. A cover charge could be an act, a good. Playa. This guy. Right. It could be, hey, I want, whatever the shop perhaps needs. So, hey, I want to make a batch of ram strength potions. So in order to shop in my magic shop, you have to bring me at least one ram's horn. That's the cover charge just to get in, is ingredients that I need. Right. And that way the shop can generate, like, how do you afford all these potions that you do other than just selling it? Well, I can't leave and go grab ingredients. So I just post on the board, you must have one of these 5 things to shop here. And that way I create a cycle of goods.
Or it could be even something like, oh no, I was late my last batch of shipments to the merchant. Now he wants to cancel his contract with me. If you can go convince him to not cancel the contract.
Conflict shopping.
Right? Then it's all right. Then I'll let you in. I can even give you a discount.
Yeah, absolutely. I will compensate you for your time for sure. But I need this in order to sell you. Right? And so that's an example of not only a cover charge, but perhaps a quest. right? Or an act of service to get in there.
Right.
Another great kind of cover charge, reputation is another one, a reputational lock to this. No, you can only shop here if you are blank. You are whatever you want to call it. You are in this guild. You are
third level only. You must have a subclass.
Maybe I'm not going to let you in here because I heard that you didn't help us out with that problem.
Oh.
Right? I don't want your kind shopping in here.
Right.
This is for upstanding good folk.
Right? You were rude to Timothy the guard.
Yeah.
Coming in.
Yeah, it's a small town. We all here. We don't want your business.
Yeah.
We'll survive without your coin, right? Now you have to do an act of apology or an act of attrition in order to be able to just shop with the locals. Right. Things like this create a journey, create exploration and integration into the world. And like we've been talking about, lots of these are examples of soft power access.
Right.
So whether you need influence through an NPC, a sidekick, perhaps a talent, a skill or ability, right? Only individuals who can prestidigitate a firework can enter. I don't want any of those mundanes around here, those muggles. Right? Even proficiencies. Like, no, you can't come into the carving store unless you can show me that you can whittle me something good. Right? And, okay, cool. Come on in. Right? Once again, one of those, no noobs allowed.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know that you're going to use my stuff or at least basic knowledge of my stuff before you can shop for me.
Right.
Whatever it is. Maybe it's a Highland craftsman. Right? And he's like, no, I don't want my stuff just ending up in anybody's hands. Right? Artisans only.
Well, like those McLaren cars, I think they make you like learn how to drive their cars before they sell it.
Ferrari.
The Ferrari?
Yeah, like the Ferrari Enzo. You have to go to their special school and whatnot.
Enzo.
That's too much car. But yeah, through that kind of stuff, as you said, an organization, a government, a guild giving you a special pass to get in here. No, you can now buy from the Royal Armory. Because the crown deems it so. You can now buy poisons from the Thieves Guild.
Right.
Because they deem so, right? Priests, whatever, holy water, thumbs up. No, I'm kidding. But
level 1 plus.
Going through that integration of getting into the world, exploring what you need to do, who you need to know to get into these shops creates more of a grounding in the world and it really allows you to do certain things. And on top of that, class, whether that's a mechanical or a social setting, right?
Nobles only.
I don't want any hoity-toity nobles in here.
Oh, no nobles.
I only help the people.
The people.
So adventurers, you're homeless. Come on in. Right? Whatever it is, you can delineate how people serve, right? Maybe this is a Robin Hood-esque type store, right? That really tries to help those of low income or those of low ability. Right. Conversely, like you said, no, we don't want the riffraff in here.
Right.
This is a posh place. Only posh people allowed. Right. Use these things to make the PCs have to integrate into the world. Use these things to add engagement to really, and remember, this pillar is exploration. This pillar is about discovering, finding, exploring, and not being unsatisfied with the end goal that you come to, right? And having felt that you've earned it in one way or the other, or having a great story behind the thing that you have. Right? No, you can't just get this off the shelf. Right. I had to climb to the top of the blah, blah, blah and grab a harpy's egg and bring it all the way back down and then make an omelet with it. It's kind of grotesque, but sometimes you got to break some eggs to make an omelet. My kid. And lastly, I think about exploration is the idea that there's this quantity versus quality thing that we actually talked about back in our exploration video. Quantity and quality are super important here because you can overload the DM, because a lot of this is on the DM side, but you can overload yourself as a DM really quickly by having too much either quantity or quality, right? Generally, it's going to be quantity of stuff. If you're generating all this stuff and whatnot, it might not be super interesting. So one of my biggest tips for you is to make scenes or make places unique and stand out. Either have the shop or the shopkeeper be quirky or have something about them that's memorable, not both.
Oh,
that was a really cool shop that had all that awesome stuff on the shelves. And it's just me. I sell stuff here and this is my shop. Thanks for coming. Come back again. Right.
Yeah.
Or you've just got like a mundane shop, but a really cool, funky, integrated kind of NPC that they're like, oh man, we love shopping from old Bart. Old Bart's the best.
Bunga, man.
He's got one hand, one leg, and 3/4 of a face, but he's great. I love that guy. He talks with the pipe in his mouth.
But he's got everything. I love that store.
But if you were to have that quirky shop with that quirky shopkeeper and stuff, it becomes too much. And then it really compounds your ideas instead of letting them kind of settle out, right? And letting you develop those individually. So don't overload yourself. Don't overload the PCs either, right? Specialize in your shops so that they have a specific reason, a specific goal to go to a specific location. And they will remember that because of the need and because of the location, or because of the shopkeeper, right? You don't need to overcomplicate and overtask the amount of lore that everyone needs to remember.
That's interesting. I guess it happens a lot because there's so many different stores. And like all the NPCs want to go to like, or also not NPCs, all the PCs usually want to go to their own specific store for this and that. And if you have to make everyone super unique with super unique shopkeepers with voices, and
it can get a lot, but you can definitely say like, oh, look, the weaponsmith or probably the blacksmith is going to be super important, especially if you've got like a mundane item upgrading system like I do in mine. Shout out Heavy Arms. Super great PDF. But it's an interesting way of then allowing people to have a specific NPC that they're going to go after. And you're like, oh yeah, the general shop, I don't need to do anything with the general shop. I'm going to leave that as a transactional. You give me your shopping list. I'm going to look through it. This is a cool item. I'm going to pull that one out.
Right.
That's a cool item. I'm going to pull that out. Now I need 2 shops and the rest of this is just a transaction.
Yep.
I'm still satisfying the need for exploring shopping, the want of making it fun and engaging, but I'm not overloading the system.
Right. No, it's so good. Because I think that the having like deep shopkeepers and sort of intricate deep shopkeepers, or like complex shopkeepers,
shopping in the deep,
and like memorable shops, is a really great way of sort of improving the shopping experience, right? If you don't collapse yourself, overbear yourself with how many you have, right?
Right.
Like 5 shops in like 5 different cities that become 10, that become 12, right?
Oh, yes. Tons and tons and tons.
Because I think it's a great way of connecting shopping to your actual adventure as a DM, right? Because what you can do through the shopping experience and by using the shopkeepers and the NPCs that are in the area as tools, you can sort of play around with rumors and and information, right? That pertains to your adventure, right? Because they're there. It's a great way, and PCs are already interacting with them, right?
Yes.
It's a great way of providing valuable information or rumors about like sort of the current state of the world, recent events, or potential quest leads, like we talked about.
I mean, this is probably your second best rumor giver beyond like the tavern.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Because it's funny, you can even interject this information willy-nilly, because usually you're in the market, right? The players are shopping for, I don't know, like a bracelet at one of the carts, right? And then you just pipe up and say, oh yeah, behind you walking by is this group of, I don't know, bakers, and they're chatting about how there's a wheat prices are going up, and it's like there's no more wheat in the area, and it's been going up for a month. I wonder why. I don't know. I asked the constable, but he wouldn't tell me.
Another great way of rewarding those who go into passive perception, right? Extra information that just floats to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. And as a player, if the DM just does that kind of stuff, don't think that it's nothing. Don't think it's, oh, that's just for flavor. Like, DM's got enough stuff on their plate that they're not just gonna throw useless stuff in front of you because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah, that is a hook.
Absolutely,
that is a hook.
Right? It's something. Right? Don't think it's nothing. rarely is anything nothing except shopping.
F shopping. F and F off shopping.
So like if the players might need to like if they're wanting information about certain things and they don't know how to go about their quest and they need information, NPCs and shopkeepers while they're shopping is a great way of sort of giving that information out.
Right? Or even other customers. Oh man, we better buy all this flour. I hear that the fields are barren.
Right? And if they hear it multiple times, maybe they'll actually catch on.
Just reinforcing that. Hey guys, over here, gentle, less gentle shove.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like we go back to the inn now and we order our usual dinner and there's no bread. Right? Conspicuously, there's no bread. Then you can, right? Hopefully they ask, maybe not. Then you can say like, hey, sorry, party, there's no bread today because I ran out of flour because it's so expensive. I hear there are bandits up in the granary area of the kingdom.
And little do they know, the wizards just discover that, aerated flour is just super flammable. It's like, fireball, extra. And that's why the kingdom has no flour.
Right?
Goddamn fireballs.
But yeah, so you connect the shopping experience to your adventure. Another way of doing that is, like you said, conflict, right? You introduce complications. Doesn't have to, you said.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be conflict, but another C is complications.
Yes.
Right? You're not conflicting with anyone. This is a situation, right? Like, I want to buy some bread, right? And I go to the baker and they're like, yeah, we have bread, but, right? Something. There's a problem and they can't sell you bread until that's dealt with.
Shout out to all you grain farmers.
Right?
Thank you for your service.
But you can do that with anything that players want.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Right? Like, oh, you want the acid? Oh, yeah, we had acid, but, right? Right? And it's a perfect time for you as a DM to take that yes, but improv exercise. Yeah, we can do that, but whatever, right? Oh, you want, you're looking to get a Holy Avenger? Yes, I don't sell any, but I know who has one. Right? Or I know someone who knows where you can get one. It's the priest, and he'll tell you that you have to go to the head chapel in the big city, and prove yourself, right? If you can become the champion of Heliod, then you might be able to earn yourself that, right? And then it becomes an adventure hook, right?
Oh yes, we have the acid. It's in the back, but the normal guy who milks the giant venomous snake, he's out sick. So if you want to go and get a couple vials, I'll give you one for free, but you got to go in there and milk that snake.
Right? Where can I find the snake? Oh, they're up by the granary area.
No, it's in the back.
Oh, it's in the back.
It's in the back. You just got to wrestle it and milk it, and then don't hurt it. I need it for my business.
Right.
But you're more than welcome to.
Right. And so it's a chance to introduce sort of fun side quests. It's a chance as a player to form meaningful connections with shopkeepers and NPCs.
Yeah. This is a caveat. We don't know how to milk snakes. Don't trust us on how to do that. I think it's like this.
Oh, I'm no
in like a jar with something. I don't know.
Yeah. Just like bite me, and then squeeze it out of your arm.
Oh,
just suck it. That's how they do in the movies, right?
Just suck it out. Suck it for discounts.
Jeez.
I love context. Day. Oof.
And then.
Ouch.
These meaningful connections with shopkeepers, NPCs, can also then lead back to rumors and information that you want to impart to the players. It's a nice little cycle here.
Yeah.
Let's get past milking things.
Avoid that. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So if you want, if the players have gone off track a little bit, you want to bring them back.
Right.
It's a good chance to use the shopkeepers and the NPCs in the shopping experience to guide your players back, to drop those hints multiple times, as many times as you need to, until they're like, why do you keep talking about flour?
Right. Or just to reinforce perhaps something small that's part of something bigger. Right. And you can tell a story through the rumors, through the news, through the bards, whatever it is. Right. And this is yet another way, including shopping in that as another outlet or another venue to have exposition of your world.
Yeah.
Right?
But again, right, it's not about the shopping.
No.
You have to make it more than just shopping.
More than just shopping.
Yeah, more than just buying stuff.
Yeah. But you know what you say when you find the thing that you gotta have?
You say, I'll take one in every color.
Oh, I was going to say, I like that.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
I'd also subscribe to this designer because this is amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So great. Balenciaga
broadsword. I kind of want one.
You're Balenciaga now, broadsword.
But yeah, if you like or think that what we're doing is adding value to your shopping game, why don't you cash out and grab one of those likes on your way?
Stop shopping for D&D content.
Stop.
You found what you need right here.
Subscribe. Cost you nothing, I think.
It cost us everything.
Wow, we're all Thanos for our legs. But yeah, jump in the comments. Let us know if any of these have inspired you to increase your shopping game or what you have done in your shopping game. But I know, for me, there's one pillar I haven't talked about yet.
Is it roleplay?
It is roleplay. Thank you for paying attention. And yeah, I think you're right when you say when you find the thing that you really love, you buy one in every color. Okay. Yeah, absolutely you do. That's the smart way. Ladies, I know our demographic doesn't really go to ladies, but ladies,
well, 25% on Spotify.
Shout out to you. You get it in every color just in case. In our case, we're going to be talking about this in the role play sense, and okay. I gotta compound this down because we compound.
You gotta role play the shopping, or else it gets real expensive real fast.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Did you bring snake venom to the session, Byron?
Just covered in bandages.
Yeah, 50 gold pieces.
I sucked it myself. It's
role play it.
No, role playing is perhaps most people's base level. Player. Most people's base level comprehension, understanding, and encapsulating of shopping. You go in, you talk, you haggle, you roll some dice, you haggle, you roll some dice, you haggle, you roll some dice, get me out of this nightmare.
And you buy one dagger.
And you buy a dagger. It's so boring that way, right? To just do that and reduce the game down to persuade-a-thons.
Right, just use Amazon. It comes right to you.
Yeah, right? They don't accept gold, though.
Right, you in the Underdark? That's fine.
I bet you they do.
Just get Prime. It's 2-day shipping.
Right. Wow. Anyway, I'm not going to dig into that. That's a whole capitalism, slavery kind of thing right there. But talking about role play.
Okay.
I think there's two ways that it can generally go. There's the easy way, and there's the hard way. In this case, I think let's go with the easy way. For engaging, and you brought this up before, for engaging in the... You did.
What? You did. I did.
So good. You want to check?
Yeah, thanks.
For your players to go out and attempt, this is going to be kind of a witnessing thing. This is going to be a judgment call. Yes. But if we want things to happen in the game, we have to subsidize them, right? We have to give good feedback on them.
Okay.
So when they go and they do good role play where the scene may happen in a shop, may happen where that secondary goal is to fill up on their rations, fill up on their water skins, buy their horse feed, whatever it is. Reward them.
Oh, yeah, I did say that.
Reward the players for those efforts. Whether that was a really great scene. That was really cool. You know what? I'm going to give you a little bit of a discount. Right? And you can even tell them, hey, guys, I really appreciated that. And you were in such a good mood. Or you seemed so morose and concerned. And your characters seemed so downtrodden that whatever it is, come up with an excuse. Be like, the shopkeeper was like, hey, man, half price for you today.
Yeah.
Or like, your day has made my day better. Half price for you. Right? Find that excuse. Find that rewarding yes and statement to show them that what they're doing is worth something. Not only for what they got out of it, but additional effects. I recognized what that was, and it was awesome.
Yep.
Right? Here you go. And this will hopefully inspire them to attempt to have more productive roleplay. And more productive roleplay makes the game so much better.
Yes.
Right? Also, that means that they're actively engaging in what's going on. So do reward them for that. And make sure that the reward is there for genuine effort. Right? They're not just like, let's have a dumb conversation because he always gives us stuff after we talk for a little bit. Talky stuff. Right? And that's where it's not that overtraining of just like, if you do something, you get it. No. It's a genuine quality.
Right.
Hey, ultimately, we're just going to have this nice conversation because we want a better deal on that item that we're going to buy.
Right.
So we're going to do this just to kind of satisfy that box.
And there is a certain type of player who would do that.
This is some metagamers, not optimizers necessarily, but some metagamers are like, oh, I know exactly how much intuition the shopkeeper should have. Right? I'm going to satisfy that and no more.
Yeah.
So do allow them to do that. Do allow them to get, a discount, but maybe those soft power increases. Right? Maybe allow them to get some reputational gain with that shopkeeper, that town, that whatever the scope is that you want it to. Some reliability. Oh, it's you again. You always shop here, right?
You're always crying whenever you come in the room.
You're always crying. What's wrong with you? Here, take a dagger.
Cut yourself. What?
No, cut them. Get rid of their problem.
Okay, good. That's better.
Don't harm yourself. There's a phone number for that. Call it.
Yes.
Call anyone.
Please. All joking aside, seriously.
Yeah. Way to go. But we do want to help. And you. Anyway, back to roleplay. So when we're doing these soft things, reliability. Yes, you keep coming back here. Yes, we notice you. Yes, here's a discount because you're my good.
We notice you, senpai.
Maybe even romance. Since we're always wanting to do stuff, maybe the shopkeeper has some relevance to one of the PCs. Leia. Jesus. So like, reputation, reliability, romance. These are all things that you can unlock by, if Mass Effect or any of these new RPGs have taught us anything in video game formats. There's an option to sleep with them. If that's in your game, you can find it. But you have to do the time. You have to do the role play. You have to engage in that story to progress it to that point. Right? And beyond that, maybe once you buy a certain amount of stuff, now the shopkeeper's like, oh, now you can get some of the good stuff. Right? Or, hey, do you need anything? I'm ordering from the big city. I won't charge you anything extra because I'm already making a shipment to go on the messenger to bring stuff in. Do you need anything? Do you want anything good? Should my guys go looking for anything? Right? I'll give you my discount because I have a discount with my suppliers. Whatever that reputational increase is, you can generate that kind of thing. That's a role play benefit, right? That's that soft power, that influence, that knowing people kind of thing going after these. And when we do get to the point when we are rolling, because eventually dice are going to come up. No matter how much role play you do, there is going to be some dice. Role play. Try to make sure that you are being true to the things that you are doing, right? If this is intimidation, it should be intimidation in good faith. It should be persuasion in good faith. Not, I'm trying to trick you, that's deception, right? That's not persuasion necessarily, right? And so do try and match up these things with what they're supposed to be at their core.
Okay.
Not allow people to kind of dance around it a little bit, especially if they're engaging in genuine good role play.
Right.
Let's try and use the mechanics to reinforce what it is that they're doing, and marry good faith and good people. Right? That they're going to go together, and the shopkeeper or the NPCs should respect that. They should see that happening and use that passive and active insight from the shopkeepers all the time. Maybe give them a little bit of a bonus in it because they deal with people all the time that are trying to get discounts.
Give them passive insight and perception.
Yeah, because that's going to be really, really important, right? On the flip side, that was the easy way. This is the hard way.
That's the way you like it.
Oof, intimidation failed. Yep. Maybe they just give them shitty equipment, right? The shopkeeper sells them shitty equipment. Like, oh yeah, I've got a whole bunch of swords on the wall. They buy a sword, but they're like, F you, blah, blah, blah. We're going to cut your price down. We're going to lower this. Oh, okay. I'm going to give you this one.
Like a -1 sword or something?
No, maybe on the first crit, it snaps. Maybe something happens. Maybe there's a minor flaw. It just loses its edge.
It just steals everyone's underwear.
Oh my God, my knickers. Perhaps maybe when you crit, it gets -1 to its damage die because you roll that edge. It's made of an inferior metal.
Right.
Something about it isn't a good quality. In fact, adding quality to your items might be a lot, but not if it's like a specific one or two.
Right.
You pissed off this shopkeeper who is just as real as your PC, in which they're both not real, but
so real,
but still real in that fake place. And because of that, they are persistent, right? The shopkeeper has their own goals, their own motivations, their own stuff, and they remember you. Unless you modify memory, in which case they don't remember you. And then you do whatever you want, but you still got a shitty sword. You can do things.
Oh, welcome to my store. That's a really bad sword. You should buy a new one.
Yeah, I used to have a sword like that. It was terrible. Another way that you can, once again, not subsidize bad behavior, or at least give a realistic response to what's happening. The taxes, but this is also a way of like letting the world respond to PCs if they want to go off that kind of goody two shoes are good. Right. If you are a thief and you get to be a known thief, shopkeepers aren't going to want to deal with you.
Of course not.
Right. Or you build a bad reputation. We don't really want you around here, but I still need your coin. Okay, but I'm not going to give you the good stuff. Right. A longsword's a longsword. Maybe. And if there's no smith or kind of anybody who is a specialist in making weapons or blacksmithing or whatever, yeah, they can get away with it. Why? Because they don't like you.
Yeah.
So that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And that could even go as far as cursed items. Who says that when you went to buy mundane objects, they didn't just happen to be cursed or in some way magically deficient? Who casts detect magic on that 50 foot of rope that you just bought? Right. So perhaps because they've gone and, you know, the shopkeeper can be innocent in this way. Right. Just
not the DM though.
Not the DM. Not the DM. But you can use that kind of brutality of NPCs that we've talked about a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Right. And kind of get in there and say, you know, what happens if there's just a rope of untying or a rope of deknotting, whatever you want to call it, right? That keeps getting returned. Yeah, I tied up my horse with this. The rope keeps slipping. It's no good. Take it back, right? Oh, okay, I'll take it back. I've got this rope that's been returned like 5 or 6 times.
Jerk made that item.
The best kind of jerk. And then they're just like, oh, this rope that people keep returning, I'm going to give them that one. Why? Because they're jerks.
I hate rock climbers. That's why I made this.
And then it'll be gone forever, right? Because they're just passing through town, right? They're blah, blah, blah. I don't know that it's cursed.
Yeah.
For any intent and purpose, I don't know that they're going to die climbing that mountain with this thing. But maybe that's a reason for me to get rid of this. Of course, when somebody casts Identify, Detect Magic, whatever, it's going to show up, right? You're not going to hide it from them in that way. But who's to say that
no one does that.
The basic gardening, well, you never know.
Well, I'm sure someone would.
Someone would, right? Whatever.
But it's because they're suffering trauma from past bad things that happened to them by that DM, right?
Yeah, maybe there's a curse on the area, right? There once was a forest here, and now that got chopped down, and the dryad that used to protect this forest cursed the land, so any tool used to work it no longer gives bounty to the earth, but it salts the earth. A hoe of salting earth or a shovel of whatever, right? Like, this is now a curse that's placed on the entire town, not just specifically the shopkeeper, right? The shopkeeper is innocent. They can't just come back and pummel him, right? These are things that you can do.
Don't.
that can further the story.
I mean, if you have to, I guess. Yeah.
Right? Yep. But it's also a role play result, right? If you have to, I mean, you're against this idea?
Just be careful how you do it. That's
sure.
All. The hard way, be careful. Be very judicious about how you go about doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And give lots of warning, especially if they don't know. If they've cast Detect Magic and they're like, oh, that rope is cursed. And they're like, I'm going to use it anyway.
I mean, especially if people are role playing and they're innocently doing bad things, like give them some warning, right?
Warning for sure.
Unless they're like genuinely bad actors.
Yes.
Like, right. There's teaching and then there's the hard way.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So maybe that's a good point to end the hard way and just talk about other things that can create good role play.
Okay.
I think the idea of looping back to the store, like we talked about before with quests and with other kinds of things, is a really good idea. Yep. And so one of the ways that I think would be an interesting way to do that is one free trinket with purchase. Jump onto that trinket table, right? Hand out the worm with 2 heads. Like, here you go. Free.
Worms don't have heads.
What? Yeah, they do.
How many heads do they have?
1.
Not this one. There's 2.
5 hearts, though. I mean, it's a multi-chambers thing. Anyway, but like, go in and roll on that trinket table and give them an item of curiosity, right? Maybe that's a minor, but maybe that's a minor beneficial item. That's one use, right? Oh, when you fail your next save, the lucky cricket in a box gives you an additional 1d4 once, right? And then the cricket expires.
Right. Oh, poor cricket.
Well, it did its job.
Yeah.
But poor cricket.
Right.
Sorry, Jiminy. But this is
you won't stop lying.
And then you go, well, hold on. The shopkeeper gave me that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what is going on with that shop? I want to go back because that's really interesting. I didn't think that there was anything interesting there, but now I want to go back and talk to them more. Right. Now I want to go back and check it out a little bit more and explore it a little bit more and build that relationship with them. Where do they keep getting all this random stuff?
Right.
Right? What is happening there? I'm interested in exploring and discovering that.
He's a divination wizard. He just has prophecy.
And a lot of crickets.
Right.
And in addition, every shop has the dusty corners, right? There's forgotten things. There's lost things. What do they have in the back closet that's been sitting there for years that they themselves have forgotten?
Oh, that's just junk. You don't want any of that stuff.
You don't want any of that stuff. Or you know what? You help me clean it out. You can take something.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right. These sorts of things will create loops that you go and then you bring it back and you're like, this is an ancient tablet. He's like, oh, I forgot about that. And you're like, what do you mean you forgot about it? Oh, back in my adventuring days, we blah, blah, blah. Right. And you're like, you were an adventurer? Oh, yeah, I know all about that stuff.
Right.
And then
they call me the Sword Saint, the Legend of the North. What? I thought your name was Bob. Yeah, Bob, the Sword Saint.
Sword Saint,
Legend of the North.
Duh. Going in to do those types of things, I think, is going to be really fun to create the identity of those shopkeepers and have something there that is interactable with and an additional layer beyond, here is my money, give me the thing. Yes. And that's ultimately what we're talking about today, right? Is changing that idea of here is this, give me that.
I really love that dusty corner idea, actually.
Yeah.
I imagine it. I'm like, that's super exciting because your imagination gets sparking. Like, what could be in there? I don't know. That's
because everybody has that closet or that room or that area, that junk drawer. You know, there's stuff in there, and you go to it, but you don't know exactly what's there.
And so many great stories start off with a character wandering into some like antique shop. And
speaking of tropes, right? Yes, absolutely.
I think, and we all have that idea in your mind. You're like, oh, something cool could come out of this. It always does.
Dresden Boys, Dresden Chronicles, Dresden Story,
Dresden Files.
Thank you. I think that's a lot like that. Indiana Jones's warehouse is a lot like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's got so much stuff in there. There's no way he knows what he has.
Yeah.
Right. And all that kind of stuff. Maybe in like Doctor Who's telephone box thing. Like it's that interdimensional space in there, right? There's so much more in there that you can always discover something new or discover something else. And to have it just be this oddity that's been laying around, that's been discarded, but it has untold value.
Right.
Is also really interesting to then go, what else is here? Or what's the story behind that?
Right.
Let's talk about it. And I know that's kind of bordering back on exploration, but you have to get there through role play.
Note to self, always cast Detect Magic in the dusty corners.
Always cast Detect Magic. You let out my secret. Actually, you know what? I never did this before. But that's a good thing. And I'm going to ask you and give you a moment to think about this for a second.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
No, I don't think so. I'm in trouble. Well, you're in trouble now. Is what I used to do versus what I'm going to do now. Because like I said before, this was an area of weakness for me. This was something that I skipped. Just you guys do it. You guys handle it. I don't care. Let me know if there's magical items that you want. And then I'll specifically and only deal with those. And we're not even going to deal with it. I'm just going to tell you the price and you can roll a dice to modify that. And that's it, right? Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
I used to do Walmart style shopping. One shop, one stop, everything you have, right? Boom, do it, done.
And none of them had Greek fire.
And none of them had poison, Greek fire, acid, or spell scrolls. Lots of caltrops, though. Had to deal with those.
I love caltrops.
Now I'm going to do boutique shopping. I am going to get out there and separate a few choice items of need, right? Or high desire want to make the PCs have to do all the things that we talked about. Have to integrate with the world, have to integrate with the NPCs and the people of the world, have to get out there and find the shops, which means they have to look, which means they're asking more questions, which means they're more engaged with what's going on, right? I'm not going to put it behind 100 checks or anything, right? I don't want to make it too difficult, but I do want there to be a shopping experience, not a buying experience, right? So a Walmart versus boutique, a then versus now. I think the other thing that I'll be doing is simple shopping, like I was talking about, just you handle it, to simplified layers and depth, right? To using those online generators to develop special items that the shop has, to maybe generate discounts. That discount's going to tell me, oh, there's a surplus of something in the region. Why is there a surplus in the region? How can I use this to affect this? Oh, there's not a surplus. In fact, there's a premium charge on this. Why is there a premium charge on this? What is happening in the world that's affecting this, right? We're out of flour. Okay, bread's through the roof, cakes through the roof, all the other stuff. Let them eat cake.
Fireball costs through the roof.
Yes, those grain-eating, guano-producing bats are dying because we can't save them. No.
That's second ed.
That's no.
Is it third ed?
Yeah, it's still.
Is it fifth ed? Guano?
Fifth. Yeah. But it's not a gold component, so you're just assumed to have it.
Right.
I love Fireball.
I miss my backpack full of bag guano.
Full of bag guano. Very combustible, by the way. So yes, simple versus simplified, right? Don't overload the system. Simplified layers and depth to what I'm doing. And perhaps even to like really go out there before you answer, an argument for Pokemon and Warforged. I don't include Pokemon or Warforged generally in my games, but the idea in Pokemon where you visit the same shop people in every town. Right?
Like it's the same nurse in every town.
It's in the Pokemon world, it isn't. But
they're all sisters, right?
They're all sisters. Yeah. Same with the Joys, the Jennies, yada, yada, yada. I don't know if that's still true. I don't know. Original. Red, blue, yellow. Yeah. Green? I don't know. Red, blue. Yeah.
Well, Ruby, Sapphire. Come on, anyways.
Train. I think that there's an argument for, in your world building, maybe making a continued storyline with shopkeepers as rumor mongers, as lore bringers, as what do you want? Sorry. Using the same NPC or perhaps simulacrums of the same NPC or whatnot.
Right.
To have that continued source point, no matter where they go, whatever reason you've got behind that. I know there are some of you DMs out there that do have like these traveling mystical individuals. Perhaps it's a caravan that's always just weirdly wherever the PCs
Gandalf.
are. Right? Gandalf?
He's just a traveling NPC.
You shall not buy.
He's everywhere where he needs to be.
So there might be an idea for that. Additionally, under the same kind of umbrella, an idea for Warforged. If you've got Warforged in your world, perhaps they can interface and speak amongst themselves. There are a shopkeeping class, or there's a shopkeeping, and that's like the last remaining Warforged.
They're the only ones with Wi-Fi.
They're the only ones with
bro, you
share
got
the
Wi-Fi?
password, bro. Bro, share the password. It's 1G, man. We don't have bars to spare. It's perhaps there's something like that. And interestingly enough, to encompass all three of the pillars, I saw something recently that kind of blew my mind. It was super awesome. And that counts. That counts. That's evil. That doesn't count. That's 2 for you. No one was talking. You can mute that. You can just juice that.
Well, you talked about
if you were to have, in this case, and I'm going to shout out Pointy Hat, Antonio D'Amico. Pointy Hat's awesome. You should go check it out. Maybe we'll throw a link in there because
he's awesome.
Dude is awesome. He had an idea for an artificer-based lich. Let that sink in for a second. And in this case, I thought, what an interesting and kind of cool idea. It's been blowing my mind a little bit.
Like
what
Ghost
you can
in the
do
Shell.
with that. Like Ghost in the Shell, Puppet Master style.
Yeah.
Where perhaps, we've talked about organizations before being evil and having their own kind of conspiracy stuff. What would be to happen if all of the shops, all of the magic stores, let's say, all across the continent, the world, the kingdom, whatever your scope is, were all controlled by this one Warforged company? And it's great. It's integrated into the community. It's helpful. It does its job. It's an organization. But ultimately, it's all controlled by a lich artificer that has interfaced himself into society everywhere until he can accumulate enough magic, enough ingredients, enough adventurers going hunting for gear for him, whatever. And that's how he's spread out his influence. Underneath the surface, nobody realizes or recognizes that it's actually the shopkeepers that are going to lead the rebellion and destroy everything. Right? It's the ultimate, like, what do you call it? When you make something alive.
Animate?
Yeah, morphication. What is that? Anthropomorphication.
Good job.
Of like Walmart. Of just like it's become this entity that wants to destroy the world. It's the best paladin subclass. Wow. What could you do with something where you turn shopkeepers into your BBEG? Right? They're integrated. They're everywhere. They supply the needs. What happens if they're just like, nope, from now on, the prices are up here.
Buy the phylactery. It's on sale.
It's on
50%.
Take
Buy
the phylactery.
Buy it.
Buy it now. One phylactery, free with purchase. I just, as an idea, it kind of blows my mind.
Not enough gold? Watch this ad. Get a discount.
Ooh. I think that there's something there. Like, what could you do when we integrate all three pillars again, right? We've got the combat. It's the BBEG. We've got the exploration. Everywhere you go, it's the same robot, or the robot knows you. It recognizes, the Warforged knows you. It recognizes you. There is a story, a history with it, right? You have served it. It turns on you. You hate it. It's the BBEG. Dun, dun, dun. No one can buy caltrops. Booyah. My caltrops. What kind of happens when that thing? So that's just an example of how you can turn shopping into major plot points.
Yep.
Right? And how you might go about using a whole bunch of different points of inspiration to create something really unique.
Right.
Really cool. No one has ever had a campaign like that. And if you have, damn it.
Yeah. Let me play.
Yeah. I want to play Shopkeeper's Revolt, Shopkeeper Revolution.
I don't know. Fortress of Walmart is what I want to play.
Wow.
Descent into the Walmart basement.
Yeah.
Walmart back
You're
rooms.
more of a player, like we've talked about before. Yeah. What have you done versus what are you going to do now? Now that we've had like this kind of a conversation, what would you use?
Oh, I'm gonna use the stuff that I talked about. No, for sure. I think they're great ideas.
Of course you do.
I didn't before it was like I said, it was just shopping.
Yeah.
Right? Going here, trying to roll the dice, get best deal, like intimidation, persuasion, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to, because from a player, I can take control of my own shopping experience. And again, think of it as scenes
Mm-hmm.
and think about what are the story beats that I want to hit while shopping,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or through shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And do that because I never did it before. And I think by doing that, it'll add that extra something that even for the other people watching me shop, it'll be more interesting because it's not about shopping anymore.
And it's not just you shopping.
Right.
Right. You're bringing somebody else along with you to experience that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Recently, we integrated a buddy system mandatory rule at the table. The players did. Where you can never go anywhere by yourself anymore.
Oh, good thing I stopped playing with that.
Yeah.
table.
We sent you off by yourself.
Yeah.
No, I think it's hilarious, but it's also great because that enforces cooperation, role play.
I mean, it gives you an opportunity, but if the players don't take it, it's going to be left wasted on the sideline, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys are watching, and I know you are, take the opportunity, do that, and I think it'll make everything way cooler.
Yeah,
right? Especially the shopping, because shopping sucks.
Well, and we've harped on it's always time for RP in combat, in exploration.
Yeah,
why not shopping?
Yeah, why not? Anyways, I mean, cool. It's funny after hearing what you said and thinking about sort of prepping for this talk. I feel like shopping can be really cool. Actually, I'm looking forward to it in the campaign that we play in. DM.
We're gonna shop your face off.
Yeah. So, please take notes, and we're watching.
Yeah.
So, hopefully you guys out there have gotten some value out of this. Hopefully your shopping experience has elevated. Even if your DM hasn't watched this and haven't done anything, you can do so as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Ask for those scenes.
All right.
Right. Call it. Get something interesting moving, or sit them down and tie them to a chair and let them know that they got to watch this to escape.
And if you're a DM, great. You can manipulate your players into doing this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's your job.
Be the leader. Set the example.
Yeah. But hey, thanks for staying with us this long. It's been a great time.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that we got this happiness at a discount.
But thank you so much for watching. Check out all of our stuff. And I guess this has been Caffeine Cantrips. I'm Sean.
And I'm Byron.
And we'll see you next time.
Or else.
Or else.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I pulled an ass muscle dropping to the floor.
Nice. You need
Do I?
a good pulling.
A good ass pulling. You out there.
It's from all that
Yank a
snake
glute.
milking.
So grotesque. I sucked it myself. I like that was a slow burn for you.
Yeah. I was like,
Do I? No, I don't. I am.
I am.